And hello there, YouTube. It's your friendly neighborhood panda here, coming at you from my kitchen right now. Now, I know that I've been talking about doing the coil jig video for quite some time now, and I've just had issues and issues when it comes to video editing, getting the video rendered, properly cut, and we lost about an hour's worth of footage. So it's a real pain in the ass to go ahead and deal with that. So I decided to go ahead, scrap that video altogether, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the coil jig review and giveaway on this video here. So let's go ahead and get started. So I was sent from Andrew Martinez Clapton coil jigs. Now the original ones were 3D printed. Now if you can go ahead and see that right there, vaped3d.com. All right. Oh, upside down. Probably want that right side up. There we go. Vaped3d.com. V-A-P-E-D 3D.com. Now, the original ones were 3D printed, which I do have a couple of those, which are going to be in the giveaway. This one right here is an injection mold. It's one of the processes that he started adopting to go ahead and meet demand because he was selling out with these really fast and really hard. Now, when you go ahead and get one of these, it'll go ahead and come with, well, I received it with an extra center post because these are removable, they can break, and it looks like these are still 3D printed, as well as it'll come with a clamp. Now, the clamp does have one line going right down the middle to go ahead and act as a guide. However, that is the older clamp that he was using. He is now using different clamps that he has 3D printed the tips for that actually work pretty boss. Now, I don't know, you guys cannot probably see it right there. Oh, there we go, up the brightness. Now, there are grooves in it as well as it locks together. Personally, I think it's cool. It hasn't worked out all the time for me, but it has worked out quite a bit. So, let's go ahead and get started. So the way that this works, now it may look a little bit weird, however, it's actually pretty simple once you know the process. So the clamp goes down here on the bottom. Wire will sit on top. And then you go ahead and you take this wire right here, which this is a 34 gauge stainless steel, and you go through that little pin sleeve and down, and it'll go ahead and wrap around your thicker gauge wires. So it works pretty badass. Once you have it set up, it's pretty much one-handed use from there. And it's really awesome. So let's go ahead and go down, take a look, and see what we have, okay? All right then, folks. So once you have it down here, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. I already have 2 strands of 26 gauge stainless steel that I'm going to be using as the core for a nice fused Clapton. I'd say this is about 1.5 feet of wire that I'm going to go ahead and be using. So the way that this works, you go ahead and you take these wires and you go ahead and feed them through the clamp. So we're going to go ahead and take this here, put it right onto one side of the spring. See right there. And then you go ahead and just line it up with that nice little groove in the middle and just go ahead and feed it through. Really easy to go ahead and work with there. So once you have it there, I go ahead and make sure I always have at least a little bit of wire to go ahead and stick out the front to go ahead and clamp in the drill. So we're going to go ahead and take this and then set the coil jig on top. Now, typically for the wire, I like to go ahead and have it sitting down. It's just my personal preference. And also what I have right here are beadle-on thread tamers. Now, I know not everybody has this issue. However, I have had this several times where I'll have a 34 gauge wire and then I set it down for just one moment and the whole thing will go ahead and unfurl on me and tangle up and be a major pain in the ass. I like to avoid that. So this will go ahead and hold it while allowing the wire to go ahead and come through without too much problem. as well as you can go ahead and spool it back up without an issue. Now I have this really loose because it's just there as a placeholder, and the tension is mostly going to be coming from these two little nuts right here. Let's go ahead and tighten these down. Okay, there we are. Let's go ahead and get the second one down. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so there is some really tight tension there. I'm going to go ahead and loosen it up a bit. That way we can go ahead and dial it in once we actually start the clapton. Yeah, that'll probably be good right there. All right, so we'll go ahead and take this wire, thread it through. Once it's down, go ahead and take it out. Now, I like to go ahead and lift it, flip it over, and then while I'm holding it in the clamp, just go ahead and take the two and give it a couple wraps just to go ahead and get started. That way you're able to actually clamp the smaller wire in the drill as well. Okay, so that's there. We'll go ahead and set that down, flip it back over, and we're going to take the drill and go ahead and prop it in. Let's see here. It's hard doing this through this little damn viewfinder. All right, there we go. Now the wire, let me double check. That is not centered at all. Oh, fuck. All right, there we go. All right, so now that wire is pretty much centered. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is actually get a couple wraps going on it. All right. Want to wrap that way. Okay. So once you have a couple in there, what I go ahead and do is open up the clamp, then move it forward a little bit just to go ahead and catch that wire. Okay. Makes it so much easier from that. All right, let's go ahead and see how it is wrapping there. Or, actually, hold on here. Wait a moment. I actually had a little bit of a kink happen. Okay, this is completely fixable. One moment. Okay, so go ahead and clip that. Okay, so as you guys see, this is actually the first time I've had this happen. The wire coiled up around one of these spring legs real quick. So let me go ahead and clean that up. One moment. Be right back. All right then, folks, I'm back. That took about 1.5 minutes to go ahead and reset that. Let's go ahead and try that again, shall we? All right, so it's tightening up. We'll go ahead and move that back. And let's go ahead and see how the clapton starts. All right, so I know you guys can't see it right now, but it's actually spaced a little bit. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is tighten up the top and see if that extra tension goes ahead and fixes the issue. Okay, they're closing up. Let me go ahead and tighten that a bit more. All right. Go ahead and try that now. Yep, and now I do have perfect little clapton going on right here. And let's go ahead and bust this out. As you guys can see, as you're actually holding it down, it will go ahead and move back. I believe that helps with a little bit of tension to go ahead and just like actually be pushing the rig backwards. And as you guys heard right there, it actually, I don't know if you guys heard it, but it actually clipped my leads. So if you go a little bit too fast, it will go ahead and clip the lead sometimes. The cool thing about that, though, is if you go ahead and make it all the way to the end, which more often than not I do, with this one I think I'm actually running low on wire, so it probably just about almost ran out there. It will go ahead and reach the back, and then the spinning of the drill will actually go ahead and clip that smaller wire without you even needing to. So let's go ahead and take this out of the drill. And I know you guys cannot see it. However, these are perfection right here. I mean, there's no gaps, there's no jumps, there's no hiccups, there's no backing over itself. It just went ahead and made that wire perfectly fine for me. So let me go ahead and clip the sides, or some of the ends rather. Okay, there's that one. And let's clip the other. So I only lost about 3.5 inches of wire there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is go ahead and pause the video, straighten this out, and then see if I can't get a better close-up for you guys. One moment. All right, then, and we're back. Now, I know that you guys probably cannot see it. Let's try and go ahead and get some semblance of view in here. Okay, so I know you guys can't really tell, but again, there's no hiccups in there that I can go ahead and see. It's a clean clapton start to finish. Now again, this is a fused core clapton. It works great on regular claptons as well. I have not had the chance to go ahead and try aliens yet. I've been trying to go ahead and have somebody who actually knows how to build an alien coil regularly before I go ahead and do this, to go ahead and see the exact process in person, or have them go ahead and demo it and see if they think that it's easier or harder to go ahead and actually run this. Now again, it worked really well for me. It is a fantastic little piece. He sent me several to go ahead and give away. So go ahead and in the comments down below, well, first of all, to go ahead and win a giveaway for one of the several clapton coil jigs that I do have, go ahead and comment in the down below. Go ahead and try to bring some friends to it. Anybody who you get to subscribe, go ahead and have them actually comment your name on the video, and I will go ahead and tally those up, see how many people that you're able to go ahead and get to subscribe, and whoever has the most subscribers added to my channel is going to win clapton coil jigs. Now, I do have several to go ahead and give away. So, that's going to be for the first one, whoever gets me the most subscribers. The second winner is going to be whoever can make me laugh. And the way that you're going to go ahead and do that, make a reply to this video. Make a reply to this video. Go ahead and tell me what you thought. Go ahead and roast me if you want. I don't care. But just go ahead and do something to go ahead and make me laugh. And something that'll go ahead and just bring the community a little bit closer together. So go ahead and do that. I do have a couple more to go ahead and give away. Those will probably be random. However, if you did win based on the video submission or the subscriber submissions, of course, you're not going to be eligible for one at that point. So I do have several ones to go ahead and give away. I will go ahead and pay for the shipping, of course, and just go ahead and PM me your details and everything, and I'll go ahead and get it sent out to you. Now, last thoughts on the Clapton Coil Jig V2 from Andrew Martinez. It is not without its faults. It is not error-proof. What I mean by that is, as you saw when I went ahead and put the wire in through one way, it ended up just sneaking back behind that little coil lead, the spring lead inside the clamp. So it's not without fault. You can mess it up if you really, really try hard, which, let's face it, That's how most of the vaping game is. If you really try hard to fuck up, you're gonna fuck up. True enough. Now, as you guys saw, I started with about 1.5 feet of wire. This right here is probably about 10 inches of wire. About 10 inches is not a bad yield. I had to go ahead and cut off about 3.5 inches from that first one and lost a couple inches off the tail end. Really not a bad thing. Wire is cheap, and I've actually been able to, at times, pump out about 2 feet of wire. 2 feet of clapton wire at a time. So that's something to go ahead and keep in mind. One thing though, I did go ahead and try this with 40 gauge wire. Now, the 40 gauge wire came on a spool that was humongous. I only got 100 feet, but the coil fucking holder was that goddamn big. And at no point could it fit on the coil jig. There's no fucking way. It was about this much larger than it. Thank you, Kidney Puncher. Really? It's like you don't need a huge ass spool. Why? Why not just use one of these small standard ones? So I tried to go ahead and recoil it on a smaller spool, and I realized another issue that it did have. Now, as you guys can see, this post right here in the middle is only so wide. Now, if you go ahead and take a look at it, once I get these nuts off, it fits just about perfectly into a standard coil spool. Not the case with everything. There are a lot of coil spools out there with wider holes in the middle. What happened with that is it kept screwing up my wire. The way it did that is because even if I went ahead and I put something down to go ahead and hold tension, which I did, I went ahead and I believe I had used just a washer to go ahead and put down and press on it. The fact that it could not hold it steady and it just like flopped all the way to the front and just like kept shifting back and forth completely screwed up my claptons. And I actually ended up destroying a clamp. Because what it did is, since it couldn't get the tension right, it bunched up in here. It bunched up in one of the holes and just completely melted and screwed it up. Now, you can buy replacement heads for these now on his website. You can. So if you're going to go ahead and get these ones, be more than happy to go ahead and pick yourself up some extra tips. Because especially if you're just brand new to this coil jig, there may be some issues. I personally prefer the standard clips. That's just me. I've been able to go ahead and use these with 26 gauge wire. I've been able to go ahead and clapton 36 gauge wire all the way up to, for the cores. For the cores, I've actually tried to go ahead and do 28 all the way through 22 without much of a problem. Without any real problems at all. For the smaller diameter, I've been able to go from 34, I experimented a little bit with 36, all the way up to a 28. So it does have some broad range. Again, I have not tried it with anything like Aliens. I have not tried it with a triple core, because personally, I can't use that. I'm using the Griffin tank right now. I'd have to go ahead and run some fairly small gauge core wires to go ahead and get some Aliens in there. So it has its great pros as well as its cons. The first pro I would have to go ahead and say is that, well, it cuts down on coil time a lot, especially if you're not an absolute pro. Now myself, my hands are a little shaky. They're not the steadiest thing. It doesn't go ahead and lead itself to the best clapton coiling experience. So if you do have some hand problems, you're really shaky, or you just can't get the claptons down right, this could very well be the answer for you. It's cheap, it's effective, it's easy to get, and it has a lot of replacement parts that you can get. absolutely fantastic that way. It cuts down the learning curve. You can go ahead and just spool out wire and just go ahead and clapton it all day long, and it works really well. Works absolutely fantastically. So yeah, another thing that I really like about it is that the center post is removable. As you guys can see there, the change. All right, so all I do is I go ahead and pull and just turn a little bit, and it pops out. The reason why I do this, I have snapped 2 center posts because I didn't realize that what my issue was is I had it all set up ready to go and just threw it in my vape bag. So at one point, because the 3D printing is not as solid as an injection mold has been, with the striations and depending on how well made these posts are, because I actually have several other the 3D printed ones, and their quality varies for each one. It's like one is really thin, like 3D printing, and then the other one is like a medium, and the third one, it's a little bit messy on the top. Quite a bit messy. So the structural integrity is going to change based on that. As you can see, it is not breaking. So those are the big things that I went ahead and I took a look at. There's still a little bit of improvement that can be done on this. Still a bit. However, he is on the right track. And if there's one thing I can definitely say about Andrew Martinez, he listens to his customers. I went ahead and I bought one of these. I bought one. And I messaged him and I said, hey, look, I went ahead and I ordered one. Would you mind if I did a review? He said, absolutely. Let me go ahead and send you out a couple if I get around to it and if I can. I said, okay, sure, no problem. I already bought one. Came in the mail, I had a couple. I had several. And as he updates them, he sends me new ones. Sometimes. I can't ask him to just go ahead and just keep pumping them out for me to go ahead and do a review because it's taken him forever. And I thank you so much for your patience, Andrew Martinez, if you are watching this, for sending me these to go ahead and review and give away. So I actually did help come up with the idea for the pin sleeve as him and I were talking about it, because the first one that I did have, the wire was running and it was jumping so erratically that it ended up shearing through the side of the plastic. Thus, pin sleeves. It cuts down on the resistance. It doesn't go ahead and get plastic onto your wires if you're running it really fast. And it just goes ahead and keeps the guide from coming out to the sides or at the front. So it's absolutely fantastic that way. I love it, to be honest with you guys. I mean, if you just want to go ahead and get into claptons and you don't have all the time, this could very well be the solution. So go ahead, comment down below, subscribe, like this video. I'll go ahead and get that giveaway set up as quick as I can. In the meantime, YouTube, you go ahead and you all stay fresh and fantastic. And I'm out. Oh, terrible exit. Stay clean.